If you're considering moving to Maryland, but you're not sure where the best place to buy a house is, then this video is for you because I'm going to go over Niche.com's list of the top 5 places to buy a house in Maryland right now. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you my take on whether or not they got this list right. So let's just dive right into it. Hey everyone, my name is Eddie and I'm a realtor here in Maryland. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, thank you for being here. I've made it my mission to help people just like you determine the best places to move in Maryland. I give you the market updates, the top neighborhoods, and everything you should know before making that move. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And we're going to kick this list off with the town of Poolesville. And Poolesville is located in Montgomery County, Maryland, about 28 miles from DC, and it is a true small town. It's become a very popular place to move to, and that's mainly because of Poolesville High School, which is the #1 ranked public high school in the entire state of Maryland. And it has a population of about 5,700 residents, and even with over 5,000 people living in this area, it still feels like everyone knows each other, and it's probably the only place on this list where you have that true small town community feel. And what I mean by that is that the local businesses are supported by the community and that it's likely that you walk into a store or a restaurant and you actually know the person serving you. And that's something that you can't find in many places in Maryland anymore. But here's the thing about this town. If you're not looking for the top high schools in Maryland, you'll probably miss this town during your search, which is a shame because it is such a great place to live. But it does look like it's kind of far out there in the middle of nowhere in western Montgomery County. But really, it's only about 20 minutes to Germantown, which has pretty much everything you need. It has the restaurants, commercial retail, has doctor's office, and even the hospital is right there in Germantown. Now, one thing that does surprise me about this town is that there's not a lot of places to eat. Now, you have a Dunkin', you have a Subway, McDonald's, and some local restaurants, and some of those local restaurants are really good, but there's not a lot of them, and I'm actually surprised by that with how many residents are here. And another thing that surprises me about Poolesville is it doesn't have its own grocery store. You have to drive 10 to 15 minutes depending on where you live in Poolesville to get to a grocery store. So there's a lot of opportunity here if you want to open a local restaurant, or some store has to come in here eventually, but it is something surprising about this town. But if you want to live in the town of Poolesville, it is not going to be the cheapest place to live. At the time of this video, the median price point is $851,000. Now, you can find cheaper homes here. There are some 2-level townhomes that go in the 300s. Not as many of those for sale as other homes in the area, but you really are going to be starting in the 600s for a single family home and definitely going up from there. All right, and the next best place to buy a house in Maryland is the town of Monrovia. It's located in Frederick County, Maryland, just south of Route 70, about 40 miles from DC, but most people living here like the proximity to Frederick, which is only about 10 miles away. And so many people that live in Maryland haven't even heard of Monrovia, and that's fair because it's not a place that you would drive through for many reasons other than to actually go there, so it's understandable that even the locals haven't heard of it, but it is a true hidden gem of a suburb. It is really rural and suburban types of areas here with one massive neighborhood in the middle called Lansdale that's the most popular place to move in all of Monrovia. It has over 1,000 homes, a ton of amenities, and it's a big draw to a lot of people that want to be near Frederick but don't want to be in the city itself. Now, the thing about Monrovia, it is not a town. It doesn't have a true downtown. It doesn't have a local government. It is sprawling suburbs and farmland. So you're not going to have the same feel like you'll have in Poolesville here, but people like that about Monrovia. They kind of like the peace and quiet and not much going on here. And even though it doesn't have that downtown area, it does have some shopping and dining, but the best thing about Monrovia is how close it is to everything. You're just 10 minutes from Newmarket, Damascus, and Mount Airy, where you can get pretty much everything you need, and about 10 minutes from Urbana as well, which is a ton of extra options. So if you're in Monrovia, you're going to be within a short drive of everything you need. Now, one important thing to note about Monrovia is that although it doesn't have a ton of development going on at this time, there have been some massive projects proposed in the past that have not been approved by the county. But recently, the county has become much more development friendly, so it's more likely that these massive communities, these commercial retail developments and residential developments will come to Monrovia in the near future. Now, the cool thing about Monrovia is that they are going to have their own high school in 2033. The county already purchased the land, they've already proposed the budget, so if you're thinking of a long-term play here, Monrovia could be the place for you. And if you're looking to buy a home here, the price point is slightly more affordable than Poolesville with a median price of $700,000. But we're seeing a lot more homes here selling for over $1 million, so I expect that number to rise quickly. And the next best place to buy a house in Maryland is Lutherville Timonium. Now, this is a suburb of Baltimore and is located north of the I-695 Beltway around the city. It also borders Towson, which is a very popular college town. And this area is going to feel a lot more fast-paced and busy than the last two. And this suburb has a population of over 15,000 people. It's split down the middle by I-83, which will take you from Baltimore all the way up to York and even up to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So this is a very busy area with a lot around, but with that means you have pretty much everything as far as shopping and dining in the area. So you're never going to run out of amenities in Lutherville Timonium. And this is really an ideal commuter location for people that are working in Baltimore City. There's a light rail in Timonium that'll take you all the way down into the city. You can go down I-83. Now, if you're trying to avoid traffic, you definitely take the light rail, but there's a ton of options to get into the city. So some of our state's largest employers are right downtown. And some of the best restaurants are also right in downtown Baltimore. So a really ideal place to live. And a cool thing about living in Lutherville Timonium is you also have the Maryland State Fair here and the Preakness race. So there's a lot of cool activities in the area, always something going on. So if you're someone who likes the busyness, you want something to do all the time, this is going to be the place for you. And even though the schools aren't the main draw for people moving to Lutherville Timonium, they're still highly rated. Niche.com gives them an A- for schools in Lutherville Timonium. So that's still great compared to a lot of the areas in Baltimore. And if you're moving here, you're not going to be disappointed. Now, this is the most affordable place on the list to buy a house at $477,000, but there are homes here ranging from $200,000 up to $3 million, so there's a little something for everybody. And the next best place to buy a house in Maryland is Four Corners. Now, this is a suburb in Silver Spring, which is in Montgomery County, and it's at the intersection of Route 29 and University Boulevard and I-495, and this is an ideal spot to live if you want to be close to DC. It has a population of just over 8,000 residents and is a well-established community. And one of the perks of this neighborhood is that being in Silver Spring means you have some of the best shopping and dining in the entire area. You also have some pretty nice amenities nearby, like Sligo Creek Golf Course and a huge YMCA, a ton of parks, and the north branch of the Anacostia River Trail, which goes all the way to DC. So there is a ton to do if you live in Four Corners. But really the reason that people move to this area is because they want to be close to DC. They're just 2 miles from the DC line and 8 miles from the National Mall. So if you want to enjoy everything that DC has to offer, the great restaurants, the national monuments, all of the amazing museums, just the great things about DC, you're going to have quick access to that here in Four Corners. And just like Lutherville Timonium, the main reason people move to Four Corners is not the public schools, but they still have the 14th best high school in the entire state of Maryland, and they're a part of the Montgomery County school system, so they still have a lot going for them in this category. And the surprising thing about homes here in Four Corners is that the median price point is only $631,000, and that's compared to some median price points in the area well over $1 million. And the reason for that is that the houses in Four Corners are much older homes that are smaller. The median square footage is just 1,400 square feet for Four Corners. So that kind of explains why the prices are a little suppressed in the area. But at the same time, that means you can enter this ideal suburb right outside of DC for a much cheaper price than a lot of the surrounding areas. And the next and last best place to buy a house in Maryland is the town of Fulton. Located in Howard County, Maryland, right along Route 29 and at the intersection of 216, this is located right in between Baltimore and DC. I mean, smack dab in the middle of these two areas. So it is the ideal commuter location for those needing to travel to both cities. And this is a suburban and rural feel here with a little over 5,000 residents. And it has one massive master plan community called Maple Lawn, which is really the biggest draw to this area. And it's really become its own little city with restaurants and places to shop and things to do. So it is the biggest draw to living in Fulton other than the location itself. And a lot like the Lansdale community in Monrovia, the Maple Lawn community in Fulton is drawing a ton of people here because of its tight-knit culture. And this is what one resident had to say about it. A heartwarming memory in my neighborhood was our Kindness Day initiative. Residents united to perform acts of generosity, from helping elderly neighbors with yard work to hosting a food drive. The day culminated in a lively street fair, fostering connections and sharing stories. The event epitomized our strong community spirit and left a lasting feeling of unity and goodwill among us. Now, if that doesn't make you want to move to this neighborhood, I don't know what will. And it's no wonder that Fulton is ranked as the #1 best place to raise a family near Baltimore. And it's also in the Howard County Public School System, which is the #1 public school system in the state of Maryland and consistently ranks in the top school systems in the entire country. But here's the thing about Fulton, it's going to cost you to live here. The median price point at the time of this video is $920,000, and that's because of a lot of things, like being in the perfect commuter location right in between Baltimore and DC. That's hard to find. Not only that, being in the #1 ranked school district in the entire state of Maryland. And on top of that, having this great community, Maple Lawn, that you can live in, it's no wonder that the homes are selling for a premium. All right, so here are my thoughts on these top 5 places. First, I think that niche.com does a pretty good job of putting together a ton of data to find some great places to live. It puts together community reviews, a ton of data points to come up with this list, but they miss out on a lot of things like the future growth potential of an area or the actual vibe in an area. They do the best they can. They'll say it's a suburban feel or a rural feel, but overall, the vibe is very hard to get a feeling for if you don't actually visit the area. But here's another issue I have is picking 5 of the top places to buy a house is very limiting. I think in Maryland, there are 40 to 50 amazing towns and suburbs to buy a house in that have a ton of growth potential, a ton to offer. They're in great school districts. So there's a lot of places you need to check out. So what I would say to you is don't limit your search to these top 5 places. You'll start searching and realize, what's this town over here, like Ellicott City or Frederick or Annapolis, all these amazing places to live. I think the best thing for you to do is to set up a one-on-one consultation with me where I can go over your wants and needs and point you in the right direction. I might cut that list of 40 or 50 down to 5, maybe 6, maybe just 1 if you have a really specific need, but don't rely on these top 5 or even top 10 lists to point you in the right direction. It is totally dependent on your wants and needs. And whether you're 2 weeks away or 2 years away, it's never too soon to schedule that call with me. Or if you just have a question about an area, you're not sure about it, send me a text. My information is below. I would be happy to answer your questions. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of my videos about moving to Maryland.